Firstly, a warm welcome to you and congratulations on Jhoothi Main Makaar.
Thank you, Anuj. I'm so glad we are doing this.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, look, the film has surpassed the 100 crore mark, if I'm not mistaken. I mean,
Yeah.
God, this is your breakthrough film. You've obviously had acting stints before, but here is a role in a big mainstream film. Now you can हक से कहो कि हाँ मैंने एक फिल्म में काम किया जिसने 100 crore को पार कर दिया. I mean, tell me what's going through your mind at the moment.
At the moment, I'm just soaking in the response. I didn't realize it's because I've done a little bit of OTT. I didn't realize the gravitas, the magnum of this. So it is. I mean, it is overwhelming. I am just figuring out what's going on. I'm an observer myself of how things are panning out. So yeah, that's what's happening.
That's interesting. When it comes to Tu Jhoothi Main Makaar, I feel like this is a role which I think any actor that we see in life would die to do, especially if they're fresh. What was the process like to actually getting the role? There must have been a series of auditions, right?
So I mean, I had met this casting director. He's my favorite, Vicky Sadana, back in 2019.
Hmm.
I mean, that was the time when only my first show had come. That was my debut show,
Hmm.
and he
Apharan, right?
wanted Apharan. Yeah, did you see that?
I haven't seen it, but I've heard a lot of good things about it though. So
You
that's how I
must
was
see
aware.
it. So yeah, so he after that, I mean, a lot of people were calling. So he was one of the few casting directors who kind of liked what I did in that show. And he, at that point, I remember in 2019, said, "I want to definitely work with you, and I'm going to cast you in a film." I mean, Anuj, at that point, I didn't honestly believe him because because you kind of as an outsider in Bollywood or this Indian film industry, you kind of have to you go through a lot of empty promises. So I didn't know whether to. I mean, I just thought it was one of those. But then I think in 2020 end when we were just coming out of lockdown, he called me and he said, "Listen, there is a big film," is all I knew. And he said, "I want you to audition for that." So I sent a self test. It followed up with about 5 rounds of auditions. And then I met Love Sir and it was great. And then he said, "I also need to do a screen test with you." So yeah, after that, I was locked for it.
Oh wow, that's incredible. Now, I think when it comes to a Luv Ranjan film, I think initially, I mean, including myself, actually, I was quite not sure how it was going to pan out. It's always like the woman who's like the kind of villain, who's the Chalu one. But here, I think he kind of spins it on his head a little bit. He kind of really changes that narrative quite a lot. So, was there any reservations on your part actually before doing the role? Did any of these thoughts actually cross your mind at that point?
See, honestly, on the contrary, I was extremely excited because what I see in his filmography is massive hits. I know that, I mean, I know he knows something that works with the masses. I know that he has some kind of understanding about his audiences and about the country that we live in and in general in the world. And he's doing something right. That's why all his films are working. And also, I mean, right now I mean, we used to, I'm from theater, right? So I was reading
Hmm.
Anton Chekhov's short stories, just going through. So I kind of think that his filmography is very, it's very light-hearted. It's very similar to Anton Chekhov's short stories because it's very light-hearted and you kind of laugh. And in that, he delivers something really like a very deep message. So I no, not at all. I believed in his talent and I was more than thrilled to work with him.
Right. There are such experienced actors. I mean, you got Dimple Kapadia also,
Yeah,
Ranbir Kapoor, Shraddha Kapoor. You
yeah,
have that, and then of course you have Anubhav. So did you
yeah.
find that whole, uh, in a way, a sense of pressure to live up to live up to that standard of acting, but yet at the same time, be rest assured that you're not the only fresh face roped in for the film?
But Bassi is a definitely a fresh face in the films, but he's a massive star. I mean, in
True.
stand-up comedy, he's very popular, and I have been one of his biggest fans. So I mean, there was that pressure, but I mean, talking about him, he's a gem of a human being. I think, somebody who made me, who initiated making me comfortable was Bassi. And I mean, till date, he's one of my closest friends. So, I mean, yeah, it was that. But talking about other people, Ranbir, Shraddha, Dimple ma'am, even Inayat, I
Oh yeah,
love her.
she's
I'm
so
a
good.
fan. I remember seeing Ludo, and when I saw that Inayat is in my film, trust me, I was more excited about acting with Inayat than anyone else. So I mean, yeah, and Ranbir, Shraddha, Dimple ma'am, all these people were extremely encouraging. They were very supportive. They've all helped me. I mean, I was thinking that, how do I behave? What's gonna happen? I mean, are they gonna be nice to me? But I mean, they have been much more than nice. And
Mm.
I mean, it was, and love, sir. It was a joy. Yeah. It was, I mean, I say it more. I mean, I've said it enough, and I'm going to say it again, that we shot the film for over 1.5 years. And I think those years were the best years of my life in terms of learning.
Hmm. And I'm glad you mentioned Inayat. So for the viewers who don't know Inayat, she plays Ranbir Kapoor's niece in the film. And I remember watching her back in Kitchen Champions, and oh my God, she was an
Hmm.
absolute firecracker. I just knew
Yeah.
that she was a star waiting to be discovered at that point. And I'm glad that you mentioned her. I would love
Yeah.
to know a bit more about, the shooting process. I mean, did COVID actually impact the shooting and the
Yeah, it did. We all got sick. I myself got COVID twice during the
oh God,
shoot, and and everybody else did. So the shoot was, I mean, we were as it is shooting in a bubble, but if important team members or even the crew and everyone was getting sick, so we had to stop the shoot a lot, and we had to change our schedule a lot in middle of it, which was, I mean, it was sad that the film stretched. We wanted to release it a year earlier, but here we
yeah.
are in
Oh wow.
23 now.
Yeah, but that must have made it a lot tougher though, right, for you as actors, because I feel like, especially when it's in a continuity shot, you have to obviously make sure that it's almost near to perfect. So when COVID or blips like that happen, how did you prepare yourself as an actor for that?
I mean, to be honest, there was no other work because of my commitment here. I was not taking up too much work also, but I mean, see, I'll tell you what my insecurity was. I am a fresh actor, and I wanted to just, I mean, I've had this greed of coming and being seen to masses, so that whatever's happening today could happen. So
Mhm.
that was the only problem which I was dealing with. That was the only insecurity that I was dealing with, that everything's getting delayed, and because of which my exposure to the audiences would get delayed. But other than that, I think Lapsa pretty much is keeps us in the character, keeps us on our toes during the shoot of it. Also,
Mm.
one good thing happened because of these delays, and because of us being in the bubble, we all kind of bonded a lot. Because of which, I mean, I think it kind of translated on screen, because the film was about how thick and strong the family is and their bonds are. So that really helped, to be honest. And I've had friends who would call me, friends who are planning to get married, but are, I mean, just in two minds because they don't know whether, female friends, because they want to figure out whether they want to move to another family, or they want to live separately with their partners. But having said that, also one interesting thing has happened is a lot of mothers have called me, like my parents, like my friends mothers have called. And I remember one auntie saying that, now I know how to behave with my daughter-in-law, and now I know how I will not overstep, right? So that's a very, I mean, it was a very mixture of all these responses, and I think it kind of everyone has related in their own ways with it.
Hmm. Correct, correct. And I think now that obviously Indian cinema, Hindi cinema in particular, has kind of is picking up again. Pathan did really well. Now we've got Jhoothi Main Makaar. How confident do you feel now in sort of pursuing a career here? And was there ever that fear in you when that whole boycott Bollywood movement was gaining traction?
I mean, honestly, I do not think like that, to be honest, that whether films are going to work or not. To be honest, my challenges are very different than thinking about Bollywood right now. I am a new actor who is, as it is, competing with, lakhs of people to be able to just be a part of a film. So I am kind of dealing with that. Having said that, I mean, I feel glad and thankful and grateful that, films have started to work in the box office again, because that was also getting scarier, because eventually I want to do that and I don't know what's happening. I don't want things to mess up before I can even reach to that point. So yes, I'm glad, and I'm even gladder that my first film has done the numbers in the times when not many films were. So I mean, that is where I am. But I feel as a new actor, or as somebody, as an outsider, I'm kind of still dealing with the fact that how do I mean, I don't think of big films, short films, OTT, or formats like that. I just feel that I need more and more platforms to showcase myself. Is how I feel right now.
Hmm. But I think, Monica, I think it's all well and good that, we're sitting here today speaking about Tu Jhoothi Main Makaar, which is obviously your major Bollywood breakthrough. But of course, I'm sure there must be a lot more stories behind the hardships that you faced to get here. I
Yeah.
want to know a bit more about that journey. How mentally strong have you had to become? How tough is it to actually maintain a thick skin in an industry like this, which can make you and break you very, very easily?
It's extremely difficult, Anuj, to be honest. I mean, I I don't even, I mean, when people ask me, where there are a lot of new actors who are calling me because they kind of think that, oh, this one has made it, so let me just call her up and ask that how to do. I feel like I came here really young and I didn't know how the world only functions. And I feel for any person who moves to another city, it is as it is very hard to understand the pace and the culture of the city. Bombay is extremely fast paced. I come from Rajasthan, which is not at all at any level, even half as fast as Bombay is. So you kind of have to go through that. Then I think as an actor, you face too much rejection. You every day you go out, you test, you present all you have, right? I mean, I don't. There is acting is extremely subjective, so I would never know whether I'm good or not. It takes one person to say, "Hey, she's not that good," and that shatters me completely. So I mean, and I have been replaced from too many shows, from too many films before this. I've been here in Bombay for quite some years, so it is not as, I mean, as rosy as it looks from the outside. It is extremely hard. But having said that, I mean, I don't want to, and looking at the practicality of it, looking at the practicality of, lakhs and lakhs of people failing, extremely talented people failing, not getting enough opportunities and all of that. I still like to romanticize my life. I still like to look at examples like a Shah Rukh Khan or a Rajkumar Rao or a Manoj Bajpayee, or any other person who's come and made it big in Bollywood. I like to romanticize my life and look at things with hope and optimism, because otherwise it's extremely difficult to just fail every day of your life in hope of succeeding one day. Touch wood, that has happened with me, but not that I've not lost hope in the process.
Uh, I think at a time like this, when there is social media, digital presence is so important. How do you not allow the pressures of commerciality, like, we kind of mentioned earlier, how do you not allow that to really impact your mental health and your self-esteem?
It's a very good question. I was just thinking about this day and night to myself because, it's been a few days since the film. I've got a lot of messages, immense love from people. I was initially, I think the first week, I was even enjoying the negative comments. I was like, yay, yay, attention. But what I realized, after, because Instagram has been active, I've been going to meetings and all of that. I felt that, doing all of that, doing the marketing part or business part of it, kind of really took me away from who I am from the core. And I like being that. I do what I do because I love it absolutely. I don't do it because of the byproducts of it. And I feel like all those things, social media is a byproduct of it. Fame, attention, interviews, paparazzis, everyone who wants to know who I am is all byproduct of what I do. And I was feeling that constantly, that I'm kind of getting away from what I really like doing, which is doing something creative day in and out. I love reading, I love writing. So I basically started doing all of that again, trying to channelize my attention to what I really like rather than just answering and whatever, being happy with the compliments, which
Yeah.
is cool, but I mean not for a very long time. And it is, I mean, I think it's on a surface level. It's not, it doesn't touch you.
And I think one thing that I can get from you, Monica, is that I feel like, I mean, I don't know if I've judged it right, but I feel like number one, you're very excited about this whole obviously Jhoothi Main Makaar thing, because obviously it is such a huge stint. But I think also I sense, I don't know if I'm right in this, but I also sense this nervousness in you as well.
Yeah.
Do you feel you're feeling a mix of these two emotions, and how do you deal with that on a daily basis?
That's I don't know how have you read me so correctly, but yes, there's a lot of nervousness because I mean, so much love, right? So much love and all that response from people is extremely overwhelming anyway. And then you kind of are thinking now, you don't know where you are because you've not made it yet, and now you're not somebody who's just started out yet. So I'm in a very middle sort of space right now, and I'm looking at opportunities, trying to make the right decisions, steps, and all of that. But what I'm thinking that I will do is, I was just thinking that because I aim and aspire to be the greatest of all time, right? I mean, I have all these big hopes and aspirations. And I was just yesterday thinking that, Monica, now people kind of know and have accepted you to be a good actor, but I don't think you can stop working on yourself anymore. Like, I mean, I actually have been, I felt that I've stagnated a little bit. So I'm trying to work on my craft as an actor more. So also that keeps me grounded when I think, oh no, you don't know anything. So you don't do the same thing. You don't think, oh, this is something that I know and I can do it now. So I mean, yeah, that is what I'm trying to do. I'm still trying to be a student. I'm in touch with all my theater people. I'm in touch with my teacher, my first acting teacher, Mr. Arvind God. So I mean, I speak to all of these people. I keep asking, sir, can I do a play? Should I come back? What should I do? I feel, I mean, I think 10 million thoughts are right now in my mind running.
Hmm.
So I'm just trying to keep myself calm.
Now, no doubt, acting is a very tough profession because it can be mentally, emotionally, physically draining as well. But, quite often when I do interviews with actors or when I speak to actors and hear about their experiences, I feel a lot of them really take it very, very seriously, which is great. I mean, because that does translate into their craft. But do you feel that sometimes even in acting, you have to thoda sa let it go a little bit in order to kind of really immerse yourself and try and bring your personality out as well?
I agree kind of to that. I mean, all the respect to people who, I mean, who give all of themselves into the craft. But I am someone who, to be honest, Anuj, I do a lot of other things. Like right now, I was saying I write, I'm trying to write stories, I'm trying to learn that. I also do a little bit of interior design. I also do 10 other things just to keep myself sane. So I don't call myself a just an actor. I call myself an artist. I'm excited about other things, painting and all of those things. So I kind of try and work towards keeping myself creative, so to say. But I don't think I bring back my characters home as much. And I mean, having said that, I have all the respect for people who go to method acting and all of that. I believe in just evolving as a human being first, and
Hmm.
then I'm an actor.
Very good point. I'm glad you mentioned that. I think that's very important. But tell me, Monica, why did you choose the acting profession? I mean, what was that one reason or few reasons that attracted you to this crazy world that you're in?
I mean, see, when since I was young, I was into a lot of things. I wanted to be a fashion designer at one point. I wanted to be a wedding planner at one point. So I was just one crazy child who was trying to figure out what to do, and my parents were extremely tired of my ideas every day. Is when I became an actor by accident because a lot of people started to say, "Hey, you must do theater." And when I went to do theater, my first performance only gave me immense love. And you know, when you're on that stage and a lot of that audience, live audience kind of applauds you, it's the best feeling in the world. So I think as a child, it was that ego high, which kind of like got me attracted. But then I continued theater for 5 years, and during the process, I fell in love with the craft and just that. I even came to Bombay by accident. I mean, I didn't intend to do this professionally. So, as much as I love acting, I thought I would just do theater. I started teaching theater back in Delhi. So, I mean, yeah, I think just that. I feel like it's extremely validating when a lot of you get a lot of love as an actor, a lot of it. You do everything for yourself, being extremely selfish, and the world loves you for it. I mean, I
Yeah,
think it's the best life ever. So
it
yeah,
is. It's the best, but the most difficult life ever as well, because
yeah,
I think
yeah,
then when you have a lot of attention coming to you to find the most genuine one or to find the people
yeah,
who care for you, not because of the image that you've created, I think that is very challenging, I believe.
yeah.
You know?
It is.
But I think when it comes to the styles of acting or the specific genre, what sort of styles do you personally really enjoy doing? And how do you think after Tu Jhoothi Main Makaar you can hope to explore that?
I love comedy. I feel like I love it because I feel there is no see in all the other. It sounds very I mean, it's, anyway, I think in all the other crafts, when you do intense scenes and when you play characters which are heavy on your head. For example, when I was doing Apharan, it was a girl who had not been out of her room for 19 years of her life. She was just stuck in one room. And then when I did this other show called Salt City, my character Ela was struggling with her weight. I had to put on 20 kilos for that. Before that, I had to do Anusha, which was, again, going in a very strange sort of mindset and their pains. And so I find I love doing kimchi because it was just so easy on my head. It was pure performance and I could do so much with it. And I also had a lot of fun while shooting it. So definitely, uh, comedy is my favorite. A lot of, I feel Indian cinemas don't do a lot of superhero films, but I would love to do that. I mean, I'm
Hmm.
a huge fan of the Marvel universe. So I am more into that stuff. But having said that, whatever comes my way, I'm doing it because I don't think I have the luxury to choose as of now.
That's going to be very interesting because I think that's what a lot of actors have said to me, especially when they are fresh, is that luxury of choosing scripts, you know.
Yeah,
And but I think when
yeah.
it does come to the roles that you choose, because obviously, like you said, you're not at that position yet. But do you kind of how conscious are you in ensuring that the roles that you do are not just something you enjoy doing, but then also perhaps assuring that they're not gonna bracket you or stereotype you in any sort of way because it can be very easy to be typecast and it's very hard to break that as well.
Anuj, I've never done anything which has been in any manner similar to what I've done before. Yes, I am typecasted with my face, which to everyone looks innocent and naive and all those
There's
things.
there's a very Nusrat Bharucha-esque vibe about you, by the way. When I saw
Oh,
you
I
on
love
screen,
her. I'm so
yeah,
glad.
like literally when I saw her, I was like, no wonder why Luv Ranjan chose her because I was like, there was a very, I mean, of course, not to compare. I don't mean to ever compare actors as well, but there was that very vibe that I felt actually when I saw you. So yeah, sorry, go on.
I'm so glad. I mean, I'm more than happy being compared with her because she's absolutely wonderful and I love her. Having said that, I think to answer your question, I've not done. I've played a character who's been caged throughout, who plans her own kidnapping, who's from UP. Then I did another character who's extremely overweight. For an actor like me who's young, to gain 20 kilos and do this to my body was a challenge itself. But I took it just to be versatile. This film is a comedy space and it's extremely different from the other two things that I've done. I've done another film where, I mean, I'm not allowed to reveal it, but I look way different than I've ever looked. So, yeah, I don't think I do parts which are in any manner similar. But I was just watching an interview. I think it was Ashutosh Rana, and he was talking about how even similar type of characters, he does something to make them a little bit different from each other. So if something comes my way which is similar, I'll try to work around it. I would want to say that, see, it's extremely challenging to be here, and you're gonna face a lot of rejections. But if you truly believe in yourself, and if you truly believe in your intentions and your craft as an actor, just be at it. Patience and perseverance will make magic happen, and things that you could never imagine in your life would happen to you.
Oh wow, that is so lovely. I think that's very important. And I think definitely like I said, it's such a huge testament to your struggles and your triumphs as well. And I think Jhoothi Main Makaar is definitely here to say, like I said, it really brings back that Indianness that we were missing from commercial
Yeah.
Hindi films. It has that family value as well as that tryst with modernity that we've all been facing. But Monica, thank you so much for joining me on Filme Shilmy. It's been such a pleasure to have you.
It's been a pleasure to speak to you. You're so lovely.
Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad at least you think that. That's great.
I think everyone thinks that, but yeah. And thank you for doing it at 12:30 in the morning.
Oh, thank you. Not at all. Not at all. It's all my pleasure. But thank you so much, Monica, and wishing you all the very best.
Thank you so much. Wish you the best too. Bye.